All right, you guys, we are live. Let me just get up on Facebook real quick.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that have been to a meeting like this before, usually what we do is we kind of go over tips and tricks to have a party, but we never really show you how to do a party. So this is going to be a mini version of how I would do a party. But like I said, with Gabby walking around, you guys can ask questions, and then we're going to kind of go how it would be if we were actually having a party. So the first thing that I usually like to talk about is you're going to want to have an area of some sort where you have your products displayed. Now, when I first started, I did not have all this, okay? And to be real honest, I have not gone and purchased anything just for show. This is truly just my stuff that we used, and I keep the remainders. And just a little tip is something that I've done for some of my team. I go ahead and keep anything that I empty. As long as I have one of it, then I usually ask any of my team members, do you need anything? Because maybe someone on my team didn't need ThermoFit. Well, I get ThermoFit every single month. So that's another thing. But you're going to have your display all set out however you would like it, okay? And yes, you're going to see it change. It's going to get bigger. The other thing that I was not doing in the beginning that I highly recommend is making sure that you have some sort of sign-in sheet. And one thing that I mentioned at the last meeting was that when you have like a launch party, more than likely the guest is going to know any of the guests that come. But if once you get farther, you're going to find that you're going to have some other guests that you may not know on Facebook. You may not have a way to contact them unless you have their information. So I highly recommend that. And then one other thing that I was not using in the beginning, it was kind of funny because Alyssa was like, why don't you use this? It makes it so much simpler, To be real honest, no one probably wants to come to a 3-hour party, okay? They want to come for the reason why they came, hear about all the benefits they can get from the product, see some results, and then go on their way. And the simpler that you keep it, I feel like the more success you will find. And so for those of you that have had a party and not used the party pad, I do recommend it. So pretty much that's how you get started. You're literally just going to talk about the main, what are we known for? We're known for the wrap. Lead with the wrap. The reason why I think that's so important is because there's no other company out there that has a wrap. So be excited, wear your gear. If you don't have gear yet, wear your black, green, and bling, but just be excited. So we're actually going to show you how we do wrap someone. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So another thing at the beginning that you're going to find is you do not have to have all this stuff. Like I said, as long as you have your wraps, saran wrap, which I do have, hold on a second, and water, you are good to go, okay? So Ashley has decided that she is going to let me wrap her. She says she doesn't. Okay. So what you would normally do is make sure that you are Are you sure? Yes or no? What you're normally going to do is most of the parties that I have, I do not wrap the guests in front of everyone. Not everyone is comfortable with that. So make sure when you set up your party that you have a designated area that you're going to go wrap someone. It's super, super important to stress to people that they're going to want to take before and after pictures. To be real honest, the first 2 wraps that I did, I was for sure I didn't see anything. So I kind of assumed the 3rd wrap was going to be the same until I put them side by side and I realized how much my stomach had changed. okay? Because you see yourself every day. So the small changes that you're going to see, until you have that side-by-side picture, you're not going to notice it. So I always recommend that if in a perfect scenario, you're going to want to make sure you're kind of the same distance. You're going to take a front view, turn that way, and then you're going to take the side view. Now, a couple things, try to stress to people, try to be in the same clothing, same lighting, same background. This is a little different because we're doing it on stage. I realize that. So, and then you're going to just get your wrap out. Make sure when you open it up, when you open it, you're going to find that one side is a little bit thicker of the botanical lotion. Just make sure you kind of smooth it out a little bit. That way it's not fluffy in any certain areas, and that way it can just really spread out evenly throughout the wrap. And then you are just going to apply it to whatever area that the person is comfortable with. She's doing me a huge favor by letting me do this right now. Okay, so then it comes to, and the nice thing is you're going to give all of your guests product catalogs. Don't feel like you have to have a ton of catalogs, okay? At the beginning, they can share. Now, obviously, as you grow your business, yes, I do recommend getting all your business tools. But don't let having products and having your business tools or gear keep you back from building your business. A lot of us are here for the same reasons. We needed that financial income. So in order to get that financial income, you just have to get your rear end gear and get to work, okay, and have wrap parties. So one thing that another thing that I recommend is explaining to them at this point that we have, so you can use saran wrap or fat wrap. Whoa, hold on. One thing that I like to do, and not so much right now because I'm technically wrapping her jeans to herself, but when you're truly just wrapping the wrap, does anyone find that sometimes it's hard to get like either the high or the low? One thing that I like to do is after you wrap like twice, take the saran wrap and flip it and then keep going, and then it's going to wrap the opposite direction. I usually just do like 4 to 5 times depending on if we're wrapping in public and something like this, or whatever your situation is. It's a little bit different. Yeah, in front of like when people are ready to get their clothes back on. The other thing is, at this point, on your in the files tab in the team pages, you are going to find the wrap directions. That is super, super important. I've had a lot of people, even me included. I actually had heard about It Works in 2008 before. You got married in 2008? Okay, before my best friend got married. I was worried that my dress wasn't going to fit, so I contacted the lady and I purchased a wrap. So fast forward, when she contacted me to join the business, the reason why I told her no is because I thought the wraps didn't work. But I thought they didn't work because I wasn't given the exact directions. The lady came and wrapped me. I wore it for 45 minutes. She had me drink water, and then that was it. I didn't know that 1 was a treat and 4 were a treatment. I didn't know to continue drinking water. I didn't know that I was supposed to, scrub the area. So just make sure that you have the exact directions of how exactly that you're going to be doing. So what would you say are some of the most questions that you receive? Okay, super, super important. The nice thing is this wrap will tighten, tone, and firm in as little as 45 minutes. But then I usually explain that you can wear it up to 8 hours. That's a good one too. What she asked is, do you think your results are different? And then usually I'm just honest with them. I'll even give, my example. The first 4 wraps that I wore, I did 1.5 hours, 3.5, and then 8 and 8. I'm just extremely honest with them. Honestly, I don't think my results were any different. I think the results were different depending on how well I followed the directions. So just stress to people that they are going to want to follow the directions because that's going to give you the best results, okay? Then you're going to continue to go through your catalog. Now, something that I had tended to do is you're going to want to, go over some of the other options. One of the things that you hear the most about is your greens. One thing that I like to do is I like to sample them, okay? If you have both, I personally like to show both. Show that they come in this, they also come in the jars. Because I don't know how many of you have had this happen. I'll go through a party, I'll be doing all this stuff, and then I'll pull this out, and they're all like, oh, because they're not expecting it to be this small of a scoop, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, and this is all I do. And the reason why I'm going through and doing this is just to kind of show you how I actually do it at a party. I do all this in front of them. I let them know this is really how easy it is. Now, for some of you in here and some on my panel, they're like, I've never had it in water before. Is this going to be okay? At some parties, I do sample it in juice. That's just preference. Pretty much what I've noticed is that you're going to do whatever you're comfortable with. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy juice, but if you want to, that's fine too. And then I will go through and I will sample. And what you're going to find is this is the time that people are waiting on their sample. They're going through the catalog. They're noticing that we have something for arthritis. A lot of people think we are just this crazy rat business. They don't even realize we have something for stress, okay? That's where some of your other questions are going to come in. So I just go through, and obviously I'm kind of doing a party, but then kind of explaining it to you guys too. And the reason why is because, yes, see, they get the question of, why is it green? You get the, they're smelling it because they're afraid to drink it. And then usually I just go through and I explain. I promise it tastes better than it looks. You can put in anything. You're going to go through everything. You're going to answer any questions. The other thing that I like to sample is I like to sample the Grange Chews. And then the one on the end who's never had it in water. But I haven't, I just don't care. So what do you guys think? Or what do you think most questions you get when you're sampling the greens and the Grange Chews?
If the greens and the Grange Chews are the same.
Okay. You're going to get that question all day long, okay? The one thing I'm going to say is no, they're not the exact same thing, but paired together, they work the best, okay? One's a probiotic, one is a prebiotic, but if you don't want to raise your hands, that's fine. But who in here has ever been at a party and have been asked a question that you truly do not know the answer to? Okay? It happens all the time. Better? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. It happens to me all the time. Okay, I've been doing this 11 months, and I would still get questions that I don't know because I wasn't thinking that someone taking, this product, a prescription, they were needing these results. All you have to do is be honest with them. I'll say, you know what? I actually do not know the answer to that, but I can find someone that can, and really quickly, you go to the team pages, you go to your upline, and you just be honest and say, at a party, need a quick answer. Does anyone have pictures of this or results of this? The main thing is just to be positive. It's all about, the best thing I ever heard was that you will learn while you earn. Do not feel like you have to know every product in and out before. Now, you don't want to suggest something if you really don't know what you're suggesting it for, but don't ever feel like you have to know everything. This is totally a growing experience. I remember when I first started, I talked to Alyssa, and she kind of said, all right, get to posting. And I'm like, I know, but I want to go through all my videos first. I want to go through all this stuff. She said, no, this is how you will learn, okay? So then I just continue to go through the products. Another thing that is nice to sample is going to be your lip and eye cream, okay? That's going to be one that people can feel what it feels like. They can see, they can smell. A lot of people they want to know what they're buying. They want to smell what they're buying before they purchase it. The other nice thing is, even though the thing says you're not supposed to get results, well, it usually takes about 2 weeks for results. I've had many parties. Actually, one of hers, we had it at a church. 2 ladies saw drastic results within the hour and a half party that we had. You better best believe they added it to their cart when guaranteed they probably would never have been coming for that skincare product. So it's all about being proactive and, thinking ahead, thinking, to back up a little bit with the wrap. Perfect. A lot of people know we have the wraps, but do they know we have a defining gel that goes with it? It's all going to be about, combining everything together. And then at that point, usually you get to your supplements. You'll get the most questions about your supplements. Sorry guys, my throat's killing me. You'll get your most questions with the supplements. So what do you feel like, you hear when you get to that point?
If you're taking a prescription medicine, if that product, you can take that product. Any certain products can't work with prescription medicine.
I do hear that question all the time. And what's nice about that is it's an easy answer. I can help you get the ingredients, but then you can just consult your doctor, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do is, all you have to do is, to make it easy, I just screenshot. I bring up the ingredients, I screenshot, and I text it to them. And then it's easy for them to go show their doctor. You just wanna make sure that they feel comfortable. And sometimes they'll even say, okay, I know you said to consult your doctor, but do you know anyone that has done that? And so I'll go to the team pages, or now I obviously have enough people that have, that have had that feeling. They've already asked about the hair, skin, nails, but we honestly just have to say consult your doctor. The two most things that I get asked about at parties are the ThermoFit and fat fighters, okay? So I usually like to do a fat fighter demonstration. Have any of you guys not seen that before? It's really cool. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some water, you're gonna add the, like an oil out on the top, it's gonna float, and then you're gonna crush up 2 fat fighter pills. When you pour it in, you will honestly see it work very, very quickly, and you will see it all combining and dropping to the bottom. That is a perfect example of how you can show that our products work. For them to, like I just said, to smell it, to see it, but to actually physically see how it's working, they feel a lot more comfortable about, okay, this is how it's actually working in my body. At that point, I usually open it up to questions, and then at that point, once you've gone over all the questions, what do you think people really want to know about?
What's the difference between the retail pricing and the loyal customer pricing?
Because I don't know if you guys have seen, but as you're talking, it has the two, it breaks down both prices, okay? So usually at that point, then I will tell them how they can purchase from us. And to be honest, I really give them 2 options. I usually don't bring up the retail unless they do, but for a prime example, when they do bring it up, usually what I say is, it's full price if you just want to get something one time. The second they hear full price, they really don't want anything to do with it, okay? So usually at that point, I only give them 2 options. I'm like, all that you're gonna have to do, so after we've gone through everything, you can decide whether you want to purchase as a loyal customer, or do you want to join the party and then I'm going to get there. And then I go over what it takes to be a loyal customer. Make sure to explain the perks that you're getting. Don't just say you have to get 3 products or a product for 3 months. Yes, we all know that you can change up your product. It doesn't have to be the same thing. But if you will honestly kind of like help them think about the next thing. If they're already talking about weight loss, tell them this is awesome. Once you find the weight loss, why don't you go ahead and think about, talking to them about the rapid defining gel. That way, let's say that they want they want to lose weight for 3 months. It already gets them in mind of, okay, here's where I'm going. To be honest, one of my biggest things that has happened is when a customer doesn't know what they're doing, what do? They fall off because it's just easier not to ask. So give them a plan, and you will find that you'll see better success. Also, don't be shy about the perks points. Explain they're going to get their perks points. Explain their landing pages. And then I usually go into, what the business has done for me. And usually if I'm launching someone's business, I have them then explain their why. Why are they doing this? Because you're going to find that a lot of people are doing this for the exact same reason, okay? And then I go over how to join the business. You're going to talk about your $99 startup fee. It's going to come with the defining gel. It's going to come with the box of wraps. For me, the reason why I feel like our parties have been so successful is you just be honest and be relatable, okay? And then, actually, speaking of that, we are going to, at this point, I usually go over and show them, what a distributor makes a year. And you just work your way up. actually, we're going to talk about rates. Did we go ahead and do that? Yeah. Okay, so if you are a distributor, the level of distributor, will you please stand up? And I always like to make the biggest people about this one because I remember, if we do have any potential in here, I remember when I wanted this life, but I didn't know if I could do this. And so honestly, becoming a distributor is the first step. So to me, that's the most important step. If you are executive, will you please stand up? What about our rubies? And our emeralds. Will our diamonds please stand up? Double diamonds. Our triple diamonds. And our presidential diamonds. The last thing that I want to end on this is, honestly, it's just confidence, okay? If you go into a party and you do not have to know everything. You just have to be confident that you're there for the right reasons. You're wanting to share a business opportunity with them, and you're wanting to share products that you know do work, even if you don't have your own results yet. You know, I was a prime example. I didn't think the wrap worked, which is why I didn't join her. But finally, I'm like, okay, maybe I want the business side. So all I did was I used someone else's results. It's still people you know. You know, we're all in the same team. Share your ideas. Another thing that has been super helpful is you can use your phone or whatever, but I think it's beneficial to make like a photo book. And so they can go through and see, okay? They can see pictures of a facial working, a chin wrap working, a stretch mark cream working. You know, most of us sitting in this room that I personally know, we've had amazing results with all different products, and we all need different products. So just remember that just because you may have joined the business for the wrap or the stretch mark cream, you may have someone sitting in the room that may be willing to join your business because of relief. Maybe they've been taking something like relief and want results like that. And the second that you set them up as a loyal customer and you take care of them as a loyal customer, they're going to turn around and become one of your team members. And obviously that's what this is about, is sharing the business opportunities. So. All right, so next we are going to talk about the product coach.
All right.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the products. I have kind of like 3 main products mapped out, but it entails a couple of them. So the first one we're going to group together are the wraps and the defining gel. Obviously, they're kind of the same thing, so we're going to put those 2 together. What everyone knows about them is it tightens, tones, and firms in 45 minutes, but it can be left on for up to 8 hours. With that, it reduces the appearance of cellulite, varicose veins, and it also, you know, like I said, we recommend for 45 minutes, but you can leave it on up to 8 hours. But we do recommend with that first wrap to only leave it on for 45 minutes because some people's skin may be more sensitive than others. So we don't want you to have any crazy symptoms from this. Leave it on for 45 minutes at first, see how it feels. If you're good, then you can always take it up longer. So the next biggest thing with the wraps is that the results are not temporary. They can be made permanent with a healthy lifestyle. With that being said, you can't just go out and eat fast food 24/7 and think that the wraps are your cure-all. They do have a shelf life, so be aware of that. Some people think that they can just leave it forever and then come back a couple of years later. It's 18-month shelf life, so just be aware of that. And that way, whenever you're telling people as well, they know that as well. The cool thing about the wraps is they work directly with the skin instead of most people from the days to be water weight or other competing wraps, so to speak, are only in water weight. Ours work directly with the skin. And because they work directly with the skin, it takes a while to work. That's why they say, wait 72 hours to wrap again, because it takes 72 hours for those botanicals to go all the way through the 3 layers of skin. Another question that commonly comes about with the wraps is, can you use more than one at a time? And I think we're gonna do questions. You have a question?
Can you back up when you said that it works directly with the skin? What did you say a little bit before after that?
That they just have a shelf life.
Well, I got the shelf life.
Oh, there are other competing brands, so to speak. They try to compete, but those are water weight only. So what they do is
That's what I want.
that's all they do is pretty much is they just make you lose the water in your skin itself and in your body, and that's where the weight loss tends to come from, or the shrinkage of your waist or wherever you may be wrapping. That's what that happens. But with ours is different. The botanically based formulas actually work directly with the skin itself to reduce the size. So that's the major difference between those. But yeah, another common question is, can you wrap more than once at a time? The answer is yes. They work directly with the skin, so it's not being ingested. You're not going to overdose. So if you want symmetric results, you want to wrap both legs at a time, you can do that, or both arms. So it's not going to hurt you to use more than one wrap at a time. Obviously, with the legs and arms, typically what people do is cut them in half, and you tap on one and half on the other. You don't waste 2 wraps, and frankly, it's kind of hard to get a full wrap on one arm and one leg, so there's no reason to waste a full. The next thing that everybody tends to go to is, I think everyone's probably heard it once or twice, is how does it work? And for a lot of people, it's the water weight. The best answer you can give to anyone is, I'm not really sure. The best reason you can say that is because even the doctors that formulated it still aren't 100% sure how it works. What they know is it works. They have scientific proof and they've done studies to prove it. And if somebody doesn't give up and just, I'm not sure, and they want scientific answers, I have them for you. And all of this can be found through the product catalog or through videos by Dr. Don or any distributor. So don't think that it takes somebody that's a nutrition expert to know these things. It's readily available for all of you guys, so that way you guys know where to find them. And I always say being smart isn't knowing everything, it's just knowing where to look for the right answer. So as long as you keep that mentality and you know main things like Team Pages or the product coach or your e-suite, as long as you know those main avenues to get to, you can find any answer you're looking for. With that being said, some of the main scientific words and explanations to go forward, there's 3 main reasons why they say the wrap works. The first one is called microcirculation. It's basically just a fancy word for saying that it increases the delivery of nutrients more effectively, and it also allows for a more efficient flow of waste from the cells. What that allows is that allows your body to actually shrink a little bit. It has an anti-inflammatory effect. So obviously, if your tissues are inflamed, you're going to look swollen. So having that anti-inflammatory effect is going to shrink the skin. And again, with constant healthy lifestyle, you're not going to have putting those toxins back into your body, causing those tissues to inflame again. The other thing that the wraps do in the botanically based formula is called lipolysis. Yeah.
Repeat that one.
Microcirculation?
Yeah.
Okay. So microcirculation is the delivery of nutrients more effectively and removal of waste more efficiently, having an anti-inflammatory effect on the tissue itself. The next main thing that the wrap does is something called lipolysis. Lipolysis is just an easy way that the body tells the fat to get out. All it does is it kind of has like a metabolic type effect, but with the tissues themselves. It just allows for the fat burning processes in the cell themselves to boost their levels, so that way they actually can get rid of the fat faster. The last thing that the wraps typically do is called tissue rejuvenation, and that is basically just a fancy way of saying you get healthier skin from doing it. You have a younger look, you have a better touch to your skin. Typically, what they say is that your skin actually sheds every 28 to 45 days, depending on your age. So this is a way to rejuvenate that cycle and allow for your body to actually help stimulate that cycle itself. Those are the main ways in which the wrap works. But again, the easiest explanation and the most accurate is to say, I'm not really sure, because nobody does. So don't go out there and try to give them a 30-minute explanation on why the wraps work, because frankly, for most people, they may not care. They just care that it will work. And you can show them the before and afters like Brittany talked about, and that usually is enough for most of them. But some of them, like me, that are green, we don't take no for an answer, so we have to have reasons. Then moving over to the defining gel, it's the exact same botanically based ingredients as the wraps. It's just less concentrated, so you don't have to wait every 72 hours to use them. They recommend to use them in between wrappings to enhance and maximize your results with the wraps themselves. You can use the defining gel up to twice a day, and that is recommended to add to maximize wrapping results. Whenever they say that you do use the defining gel, use it in a circular motion to actually help absorption and penetration into the skin. Basically just saying, don't leave the lump sitting on your skin. Yeah, I'll listen to that. So yeah, those are the main topics there for the wraps and defining gel. The next one that I typically talk about the most is the greens and the greens chews. Brittany hit on it a little bit, that they are different, but not many people know why. She did say that they are a prebiotic and a probiotic, and I'll go into what the difference is here in a minute. But we'll start with the greens because that is one of our main products as well. A lot of you guys have probably heard it, but it's 38 superfoods. It alkalizes, detoxifies, and energizes your body. What it typically does is it tries to alkalize your body. If any of you guys know about the pH scale, you have acids from 0 to 7, 7 being neutral or water, and then 8 to 15, 14 or 15 being alkaline. You want a slightly alkaline body because what that does is that fights off a lot of the acidity and the foods and drinks that you take in every day. Helps balance that out. Your blood is naturally acidic, naturally alkaline at about 7.35. That's my number so I get in. But what it does to be slightly alkaline is that boosts your immune system, and that allows to have more energy throughout the day. So that's why you want to be slightly alkalized instead of slightly acidic. And that's one of the main things that the greens do for you. Another thing that I just said is it's a probiotic. The greens themselves are the probiotic. They contain their ingredient called lactospore, which is the actual probiotic in the greens. The good thing about that is being a spore is the reason why you don't have to refrigerate it. A lot of things like yogurt and a lot of other foods that may be a probiotic, those have to be refrigerated because those probiotics are not in spore form. Spore basically meaning like, mushroom or some other spore that needs to be hydrated in order to be activated. So they really went out of their way to make sure they could use something in the spore family so that way they don't have to be in the fridge and have a shorter shelf life. You can have a longer shelf life, keep them on your counter, and just put it in water or juice, whatever, to hydrate it and activate that probiotic itself. Another question that's typically asked is people will look at the back of the greens and say, why aren't the daily values of the vitamins and nutrients listed? It's a fair question. I kind of asked the same thing, but it kind of goes back to that whole alkalization and detoxification stage. The foods that they chose to put into the greens are not meant to be a substantial daily value. They're not meant to be a multivitamin. If you want a multivitamin, go for the core nutrition. These are just meant to be the right foods to allow the right processes to take place in your body to reach your desired alkalization. So that's kind of why they're not ever posted on there. They just say proprietary blend, 1,000 things. And then another good thing with the greens is there's only 2 milligrams of sugar. Sorry, 2 grams of sugar. In it, which is nice because a lot of people, they're even on diets are looking, or maybe diabetic, they really look for these sugar levels. These are so non-existent here compared to what we ingest every day that it really helps that they don't necessarily have to worry about what they're ingesting on that level. The one thing with the greens though compared to some other of our products is they do contain a small amount of gluten. With that being said, I do know people that are allergic to gluten and do take the greens every day and they've not had any issues. People that are maybe slightly more allergic to gluten may have a different effect, but just be wary of that if somebody is gluten-free. The greens do contain trace amounts of gluten. Now over to the greens chews and why they're different. The main difference, again, is that it's a prebiotic and also it's an antioxidant. To compare an antioxidant, they say that the greens chews contain about 20 cartons of blueberries in terms of the antioxidant. They actually use the same antioxidant that is in the blueberries, but just put it in the greens chews themselves. The reason why the antioxidant is so important is because it really plays a role in body vitalization. So things like your brain, obviously, you want to protect it as you age. So they've proven that the antioxidants help they slow impairment of memory and motor function over time. So as you age, that will actually become more and more significant. The prebiotic is a little bit different from the probiotic. The probiotic, I always say, is a lot like the yogurt, or it's live bacteria that you ingest into your body that you're kind of trying to replenish the supplies that your body naturally dies off as you go through. The prebiotic, as in the chews, are slightly different because instead of being live bacteria that you ingest, they're actually the food to support the bacteria that's already currently living in your digestive system. So that's another reason why they also say to pair the greens and the greens juice together, because not only are you replenishing what dies off, but you're also feeding what is still there. So that's a big difference in what they do and why you should take both together. If any of you guys like big words, the prebiotic and its polydextrose, soluble fiber, and inulin. And then they also another good thing about the greens juice is they contain pterosterol, which maintains blood pressure and promotes heart health. I guess that's right. I'll see big for me. But yeah, so that's another added avenue in which you can promote the greens juice is why you should also take that with the greens. And if people do count calories, there's two greens juices serving, and they're only 30 calories at 9 grams of carbs and 3 grams of sugar. So again, pretty low on the daily value levels of all of them, but still getting much more benefit than harm out of that. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is going to be the fat fighters. I think that's another one of our main products that we typically sell a lot of. From a very superficial level, we say that it absorbs a lot of the carbs and fats. Numbers wise, about 70% of the fat, 30% of the carbs that you ingest. It works by actually binding that fat and those carbs to the prickly pear fiber. And we recommend to take it 15 to 30 minutes after your meal. You don't have to take it before because, as you've seen in the demos, it does work on the spot. So you can have the luxury of just taking it after the meal. So I know Alyssa keeps at least one bottle in her purse at all times. I know Tiffany does too. So. But we also recommend that you do not take supplements with the fat fighters because of that binding and removal effect, especially medications. So if you do have any medications or just want to take a pair of supplements together, don't do it with the fat fighters. Maybe do it with thermofit or something else, because you can't have that removal and binding effect for 1 to 2 hours after you take the pill. So obviously you don't want to be diminishing your supplementation supply for that. The fat fighters, unlike the greens, are gluten-free. So if somebody is allergic to gluten and you're looking for products, the fat fighter is gluten-free. One of the big things I'm sure probably all of you guys have heard of is Garcinia cambogia. I don't know if you guys have heard that as the dramatic weight loss supplement. We don't use it as that. What we use it for and actually promote it for is it does boost fat burning, but it also is a appetite inhibitor. So that is one of the things that has been studied and has been shown to actually do to inhibit your appetite so you don't eat as much or as often. And that's one of the benefits of doing a fat fighter is it'll also, after your meal, it'll still make you feel full and make you feel full longer, which everybody tends to like, so that way they're not eating all day. And if you do eat, go snack on the greens juice. One thing that I do like to be wary of is I know some people may or may not like to take caffeine. Just be aware that there is a little bit of caffeine in the fat fighters. It's a part of the green tea leaf extract. It's not high levels. I think if you actually calculate the percentages out on the back, it turns out to be less than 100 milligrams of coffee, or 100 milligrams of caffeine, which is less than half a cup of coffee. So not really a whole lot, but if somebody has sensitivities to caffeine or they're watching it, something to be aware of. In terms of actual products for that, that's all I have. And then I'm just going to talk more about the cosmetic side as well. So.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to talk about lip and eye toner and the exfoliating peel. I feel like the toner is something that I get a ton of questions on how it works. And so I looked through all of our, you can find a lot of answers on Product Coach or the product printouts from your document library. But the toner is to hydrate, tone, soften skin without removing your essential moisture, balance your skin to natural pH levels, tighten your pores to give a more even skin tone. It is also alcohol-free, which saves you from drying out your skin. So to use the toner, it comes in a spray, and so you spritz it on after your cleanser or after shaving, and it also can be used to calm stings of sunburn, bug bites, and minor skin irritations. With the 3 products that I chose to do, I picked out the first 3 or 4 ingredients of each product, and those are the ones that really make up, those are the biggest ones in the product, and those, I'm going to explain what they do. So the first product or the first ingredient in toner is aloe, and if you have ever had a sunburn, your mom probably put aloe on you. It's super healing and anti-inflammatory, so that's why it helps with sunburn and stings so much. The next ingredient in the toner is rose flower extract, which is really rich in vitamins and minerals. It also has an anti-inflammatory and moisturizing properties. It inhibits bacterial growth and helps to shrink pores. So when you get extra bacteria in your pores, which is how you get zits and breakouts and other things that you don't want. And then the third thing for the toner that I'm going to mention that are the biggest things is the green tea leaf extract, which is in a lot of our products. It's very rich in antioxidants and it helps to soothe irritated skin. So if you see like the first 3 ingredients in toner all help to soothe and are anti-inflammatory. So that's kind of how the toner works. If that makes sense. And then the next one I'm going to talk about is lip and eye. So everybody I'm sure has either used or seen lip and eye. It helps to lift and renew delicate areas around the lip and eye, improving skin tone and texture, reduces appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, reduces appearance of baggy skin under your eyes. So how do you use the lip and eye? You can apply it either morning and or evening. I personally use both. And then with the lip and eye, how it works is the first ingredient in lip and eye is water, so that helps to hydrate your skin. And then there's the rose flower extract again. So that's rich in vitamins and minerals, anti-inflammatory, moisturizing, and inhibits bacterial growth. And then the next one is musk rose seed oil. It helps to moisturize, reduces the wrinkles and fine lines, repairs damaged skin, and builds up collagen to increase elasticity. So as like you age, your skin like loses elasticity and gets more like saggy. And so this really helps to build the collagen to like, that's how it shrinks the bagginess under your eyes. And then go for it. That one. It's safe.
Hyaluronic acid.
It's a safe, gentle acid naturally occurring in the body. It binds with the moisture of the skin and pulls it to the top layers to keep your skin plump and renewed, which is why it has a tensor effect and like it's kind of a lip plumper. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is the exfoliating peel. This one's a really popular one. It removes excess oil and dead skins to prevent clogged pores for renewed, brighter, clearer, softer, and smoother skin without harsh chemicals that are often used at spas or at a dermatologist office. So you can go to spas or your dermatologist office and you can get a chemical peel, which removes the first top few layers of your skin actually. So it works as giving you a way to do it at home, plant-based. So it's a lot healthier for you. So how do you use it? You apply it twice a week to a clean face, gently breaking up the microbeads in circular motions. Let dry for 10 minutes and rinse with cool water. And it's just that simple. And how it works is the microbeads, they're like little, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but there's like little green beads inside the exfoliating peel. And they help with the mechanical action of exfoliating your skin. And then as you break them up, they're filled with aloe. And we talked about how awesome aloe was. It helps prevent irritation from the rubbing and exfoliating with the nutrients and the anti-inflammatory properties. Glycolic acid, which is derived from sugar cane, it peels away the top layer of skin for the smooth, fresh look. And then lactic acid draws moisture to the top layers of the skin to prevent over-drying from exfoliating. And then there's, Dr. Don talks about this in one of his videos, there's what's called perfection peptide 3. Peptides are groups of amino acids that make up your proteins in your skin. These peptides help with skin renewal for strong, firm skin. And then there's white willow bark, which is where aspirin is derived from. But this works with the proteins from the peptides to help renew and turn over skin. So like Michael said, your skin renews like every 24 to 48 days as an adult. And so this helps to kind of excel that so you can slough off the dead old skin. And then what's great about the exfoliating peel is it's botanical fruit acids, so there's no harsh chemicals, and there's also fruit enzymes that work together to give you the plant-based do-at-home peel.
Something else with the exfoliating peels, I've been asked like why use it, so to speak. I mean, obviously a lot of the girls just like it because it's spa-like, but again, the real reason is because with your body, you're more rigorous, you clean it daily. The face is a little gentler, so it typically doesn't see as much action every day. So this exfoliating peel allows that dead skin to get peeled off to where like maybe on your chest or arms, it may get peeled off if you remove your shirt at night or something like that. You're more rigorous with your body than you are in the face. So this just acts as like she said, as a advancement in that process to try and make sure it all gets off. But again, with all of these, big words words be through a tube. The best thing you can ever do is say, I'm not really sure, I can go look, but you know these words possibly, you know, off the top of your head, or you know where to go look to find them. There's no reason to know them all off the top of your head, because like I said, 95+% of people don't really care about this stuff. So just tell them what it does, how, you know, kind of how it works in general, and that's usually fine for most of them. If you get the super analytical people that want more, this is what this is for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you know, for the energy drinks, it's 100 calories, 27 carbs, 27 grams of sugar. Keep going on, but yeah, so those are higher. Yeah, 250% B6, 417% B12. but yeah, so those are higher levels. Yeah. The sugar is crystalline glucose or crystalline fructose instead of glucose. So it doesn't spike your blood sugar levels like typical energy drinks will. The reason why they're lower is because I don't say they're the worst sugars, but they're the typical sugars that can spike blood sugar levels. So this one only spikes at 20% of those levels. So it's much more safe in terms of blood sugar and those types of effects it can have. The carbs are there just because they're derived from fruit, natural fruits. Fruits typically have a lot of carbs in them. There's no way to really get around it. But that being said, there's no fillers in the energy drinks and things that questionable ingredients. Yeah, so what I would tell those people is, you know, there's certain things you can't get around. Naturally derived ingredients will be higher in sugars and carbs because especially with fruits, that's what they're high in. But again, they're higher in crystalline fructose instead of just traditional glucose. So they won't spike your blood sugar levels, and they still only have 100 calories. You know, again, you could look back at your Monsters and your other competitors, and they may push 0 calories or something like that. But then you look at all the junk they threw in there, and some of it may be linked to cancer and stuff like that. So we, you know, all natural. We want to stay as streamlined as possible, and it's all transparent. You know, we don't hide anything from you like they may. You know, we have proprietary blends, but we break it down what it is. They may just say proprietary blend and have the little asterisk saying, you know, they don't know the levels. So they want to make it pretty transparent, so you can't. Yeah, they're high levels, but this is wrong. So. Next week.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so real quick, I just want to ask, how many people are working towards Ruby? Or if you're not Ruby, who wants to be Ruby? Okay? Yeah, all right. So first, I need one person who wants to come up. How about you? Come up, just right here. Yeah. You are going to be our Ruby for today. All right. Go ahead and sit right here. So she's going to be our Ruby. So once you sign up, your first step, okay, you want to make sure that you have your auto ship set to 80 BV. This is so important. Auto ship is law. If your auto ship is not set to 80 BV, you will not be commission qualified. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to do. The next thing that you need to do is contact 4 people, get 4 loyal customers so that you can earn your 120 in free product, okay? So go ahead and hold up 4 fingers. These are her 4 loyal customers. We're just going to pretend. Okay, so then after you get your 4 loyal customers and you earn your 120 in free product, which is here, that's awesome. Who doesn't love free products? You are going to find 3 people to join your top line. 3 people to help share their story and share these products with other people. So I need 3 more people. Hurry up, 3 people, next 3 people. All right. So you guys are going to be, they are going to be on her top line. Okay, so she is on the top and these 3 are in front of her. So these are her 3 distributors. Each of these people now, again, need to make sure that their auto ship is set to 80 BV. Why? Because it's law, okay? It's law. Get that in your head, it is law. Okay, so she has her auto ship set to 80 BV. She just got her 120 in free product. She then enrolls her 3 distributors who set their auto ship to 80 BV. Then they're each gonna get 4 loyal customers. And they're each gonna get $120 in a free product because who doesn't love free products? So then here's the best part. Once each of these people gets 4 loyal customers, she gets $100 for each of them for getting them fast start qualified, okay? So she gets $100 for her, $100 for him, and $100 for him. So she just got $120 in free product and $300 in bonuses. okay? All while working towards her Ruby bonus and that $500 Ruby bonus. So the next step is to get 2 more distributors in her second line, okay? So I need 2 more people. Do you 2 wanna come up? Stand right in front of her for me? Awesome. So then they're gonna get their auto ship set to 80 BV, okay? And they're gonna get their 4 loyal customers and earn their $120 in free product. Now with that free product, you can keep it for yourself and try out all of our great products, or you can add that, you can sell that, okay? You can make extra money off of that $120 in free product. It's great. So she is going to get, or they're going to get their 4 loyal customers each, get their $120 in free product, and she's gonna get $100 from each of them. So then she's gonna get $200 while working towards her Ruby bonus. It's awesome, you guys. So then, what happens after everyone is at 400 BV? She goes Ruby, and she's getting her bonus. They all got $120 in free product. She got $300 extra dollars. She got $200 extra dollars. And now all of these other teammates are going to be working towards Ruby as well. Ruby is key in this business. That's why we go over this, and that's why we try to explain it to you so thoroughly, because this is the core base, okay? Ruby is so important. Emeralds are built on rubies, diamonds are built on rubies, everything is built on rubies. If you know how to build a ruby, you are going to be successful in this business. If you can help your team get to Ruby, you are going to be successful. It is so important to make sure that you guys know how to build a ruby and what Ruby is made of, because if you can do this, you are going to be successful. And next is the man panel. It's here for the guys.
Hey everybody. Woo! It's the first time I've got to host one. It's great. I've got to answer any questions like all you guys. Got a great group of guys up here. And I actually got to pick out all their own questions. We got really lucky. I'm going to call every single one of them individually. Is there anything you're passionate about that you'd like to talk about? And none of them overlap. So everything they're talking about is actually what they chose to talk about. I didn't have to come up with any real questions. All their questions that they wanted to talk about were great. So I'd much rather than talk about something they felt strongly about than me forcing them to talk about something they didn't care too much about. So we're going to start off with Brad Singray, and he's going to talk about social media and how the most part of his beginning of his journey is mostly social media. Yeah, he pretty much lived in his basement and stayed on Facebook. And we're also going to talk about how leaving his comfort zone has changed his business dramatically, and how, kind of getting over the fact that you're in a company with some skincare line products, even though you're a man, you still need to talk about them, you still need to use them, and you still need to address them, because it's going to make your business grow. This is quickly becoming not only a woman's business, very quickly. So, let's start this off with Brad Singray. How's it going? All right. Social media, that's pretty much all I did, because blitzing just terrified me. So first thing I did was, I got on there, I made my welcome. I'm doing it works now. Everybody made fun of me at first, all my friends, and then I started looking at before and after pictures and posted a bunch of pictures like I saw like Tiffany used to do. And then I realized that everyone's doing this, so I need to do something different to stand out. So I started making videos, and I wanted to try the facial, and I wanted to try all the skincare stuff. So what better, I might as well make a video about it so someone can see it. That kind of just naturally made me leave my comfort zone without even thinking about it. So after that, you gotta just go through your friends list and just message everybody. That's what I did, and I signed up a lot of people just from that. People get bothered by it, but that's just part of the business. I think I'm kind of in a slump right now. That's just what. Not in a slump, it's just been a slow month in June, but July. No, it's not. But I'm ready to start making some videos again. Max right here, he's a new distributor, and we got some ideas working. So yeah. David, and when I called him, he actually blew me away because I said, you know, is there anything you specifically want to talk about? And he said market saturation. And I went, what? And he said, I want to address how we're not saturated, and it seems as though we are. And I said, man, I would have never thought of that on my own, and I'm sure nobody else is going to think of that either. So by all means, take it and run with it. If you're brave enough to step up and talk about market saturation, by all means. So,
It's a little awkward. I haven't touched a microphone in 10 years, so. Market saturation, that just means people think there's too many distributors. Like, I was like, man, there's so many women in the Fishers, Noblesville area. And there's a guy I work with, and I really wanted him because his wife is a school teacher. Teachers are awesome as distributors because they're great at teaching leaders, new leaders. And he's like, but there's too many people. In my neighborhood alone in Fishers, I saw 3 of Works car magnets this week. And I was like, but don't you live in that one neighborhood in Fishers? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what about the other 297 cars in that neighborhood? I'm like, if you came into a restaurant, I give you this big salad on your waiter, and I pull out the ranch and I just put a little dribble on the side, and you're looking at me like I'm dumb. I'm like, I just saturated your salad in ranch. It's on 3% of it. You're gonna look at me like I'm an idiot. So that said, does anybody know where the top income earners live? Like, yeah, okay, where does Mark Pentecost children live? What city? Grand Rapids. Anybody know who the Duns are? Where do they live? Grand Rapids. I have a personal friend that from Southwest Florida, and she's amazing. She's beautiful. She's very personable. She just had a baby a few weeks ago. She's worked at the same chain of restaurants for the last 12 years, so she has brand loyalty. She only has 900 Facebook friends, but whenever she makes a post, she gets over 100 likes in one day because she has a lot of influence. And she works at the same restaurant in Grand Rapids for the last 2 years. And I texted her on the way here just as an experiment. I'm like, how many people have asked you about It Works? Right smack in the middle of this very common chain restaurant in Grand Rapids. She's like, what's It Works? Do you know how many distributors are in Grand Rapids? 1,000. Yeah, see? So it's not saturated, but the final nail in the saturation coffin. Does anybody know what happened on July 6, 1997? 11,000 people were born. That means 11,000, that's just the United States. So that means 11,000 people today in North America, United States, are able to become distributors or loyal customers that couldn't be yesterday. There was 340,000 people were born in the month of July 18 years ago. So 340,000 new potentials this month. And that's just in our country, not any of the other countries. There's 4 million this year. So there's plenty, there's an unlimited supply, because every year after that, we average 4 million births a year, every year. So we have an unlimited supply of people to talk to. So don't worry about it being too saturated.
It's really good.
I'm really excited to follow you.
I'm sorry. All right, let's keep it going. Andrew is going to talk about support from both sides. Like I said before, this is not just a woman thing anymore, so guys aren't just staying home and cleaning the house. Now guys are working the business too, so both directions, support from both sides. We might still need to give a little bit more support sometimes, but it needs to be given both ways. So I'm just going to let you know that.
All right. First, I have to apologize. I really ruined the boy band look we had going up here. Except I don't have any work shirt on. I had to go with something green. just a heads up, the unisex size and the men's regular size, they do not line up. So I felt like Tommy Boy, like fat man little coat, trying to squeeze on this unisex shirt. I'm like, can't wear that out in public. And I support, it goes both ways. My girlfriend started in this end of last year, October-ish, and I'm skeptical. It's just my nature. I'm skeptical about everything. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna try it. What works? It works. I have no idea what you're talking about. No one I know has ever heard of this. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this some like 3-dimensional triangle scheme thing? She doesn't let me say the word pyramid. Then she starts talking about it, and I start listening. I'm like, oh my God, you can do well on this. No one knows what it is. Market saturation. We're talking to people, and she gets going with it, and it works, and it works, and it works. And she's like, hey, you should do it. I'm skeptical, because that's what I do. It takes me a little bit, and as we go back to the first talk, you get some uncomfortable spots. As a guy, it's not like, hey, would you like to tone, tighten, and firm? Not your best intro. But you do need to support each other. She's extremely helpful, helping me figure out, hey, what should I post? Who should I contact? Oh my God, what do I say to this? I'm the same way, like, hey, I'm on Facebook, looking at my friends. Who should we talk to? Who's really interested? Da, 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 da. So we'll go back and forth using each other as resources. And even then, we still have our moments where she's working, and I feel like a chauffeur as she's on her phone doing 900 things. And we've gotten to the point where it's like, hey, I get it. You're working, it's a job. Okay, it works, is a job. It's not a social club. I love all of you. There's a ton of great people here. We've always had fun at our meetings and get-togethers, but it's a job. You're gonna have to work. Whether it's 15 minutes a day, an hour every 2 days, whatever, it's still a job. So you kind of have to learn to set aside work time, not work time. And at some point, the phone does go down, but other times you're gonna say, hey, hold on, I got something here. So we've gotten in a good routine of being supportive with both of those. Speaking of the awkward situations, as a high school teacher, she's bugged me for a month or two. Hey, would you pass out the cards? Would you send an email to staff? I'm like, man, I'm gonna catch so much grief. Walk into the lunchroom, everyone's like, hey, so did you get a wrap for lunch? Thanks, guys. So you are gonna have to put yourself out there. And you are gonna have to be uncomfortable at times. That's the only way you're gonna see real growth, is by making yourself uncomfortable and learning to try and grow. I guess that's the gist of where I was going with that. Anybody, guess we're on Michael. Oh, never mind,
I'm
remix.
gonna say something, and then I'll give it to Michael. But I want my time, Mike. I think you started out supportive, it sounds. I started out supportive. I was really not nice and really don't do this. Not gonna work, and I was wrong, obviously. Thank you, baby. So great job. Michael is going to talk about when you approach somebody, kind of already touched on it, keeping it simple. We all know Michael could be a rocket scientist. He could literally talk somebody out of their shoes. But he's going to talk about how to keep it simple when you're talking about a product, and how to kind of read somebody when you approach them, what to bring up after talking to them for a second, get a read on what might they be interested in. So I'm just going to let him
Awesome, yeah. I'm gonna gear this more towards guys, how guys approach guys. But again, this also can go for girls as well. Biggest thing is, I kind of mentioned it earlier, is keeping it simple. I gave you all the big words earlier, but in the end I said, lead with, I'm not sure, but I can find out. And the real reason you do that is because, yeah, everyone isn't an analytical person. And the biggest thing that I think was big for me also whenever I started helping Alyssa with this was that I wanted to throw up on everybody and, do what I kind of did up there and give them all of that. And that's the worst possible thing you can do, because that turns everyone away. The best thing you can do is tell them what it is, tell them what it does, and be quiet. They will come to you with answers or with questions, and you can give them the answers accordingly. Otherwise, they're going to feel overwhelmed. I mean, it's just like if somebody came to you and said, here's 30 products, this is what's in every single one of them, do you want one? You would be like, let me take a second and figure this out. So you tell them, you give them the product catalog or give them your website, they can go on and look at it at their leisure and just then tell them, hey, if you have any questions, please let me know. That's the easiest way that I think keeping it simple will do the most for you, because then you're not feeling also desperate, because I feel like if you do that, you come off as very desperate, and the people are like, I don't know, these people seem kind of cuckoo, so I don't know if I want to go with it. So don't seem desperate, don't throw up on them with information. With approaching people, we've all heard of, the color scheme, and the 4 types of colors, and how to gauge people in that first minute or two of conversation. If you haven't, on Alyssa's Facebook page, we actually just had somebody asking. Susan posted the link to it. But yeah, you can see what colors represent what. But with that as well, with guys, you can also read guys as well. I mean, there are different stages of guys and girls for that matter. You have, the super, the CrossFit people, the people that just, it's a living, it's what they do. The people that just want a casual, tight tone and firm, you can kind of, you may not see it, it's harder to see on guys and whatever, but I always lead with what I know best. So, and I recommend all of you guys do that too. For a lot of people, that may be the reps. But for me, it's not. For me, I played baseball with Purdue, and so I was very sport-minded. So, the proteins and the multivitamins and all of the supplementation is what I know best. So especially when I'm going to guys, there are probably a lot of like-minded people. So I'll say like, hey, but I always start with the reps because that's what we're most known for. I say, we're most known for our reps, but we also have an awesome fill-in-the-blank skincare line. If you're into facials, nutrition side, you can really peg it on what you know best. And what that then allows them to do is if they did want to go back to the wraps or go to the cosmetic side, you can reach into that, but you start out with what you know best, so you sound most knowledgeable on that. So I would approach a guy, and, if I'm at a gym or if I'm just out, just joking, hey, do you work out? He'd be like, what? Yeah, I guess. And then you can tell them about the protein, and then you can kind of break it down for them and tell them what's in it. But that's just an easy way to approach the people and lead with what you know best in order to make sure that they feel comfortable with you. And because we all said, we're not going to go up to somebody in Starbucks. This has literally happened. And you can say, hey, can I wrap you in the bathroom? And then a girl will go into the bathroom with the distributor, and they'll wrap them in the bathroom. You're not going to go to Home Depot while somebody's looking at laundry. Say, hey, I'm going to go back here and wrap you. It's just not going to work. So you can't leave it that, but that's okay. That comes to where knowing your audience really plays it. I mean, if it works for you, that's fine. But, so really knowing your audience and really reading them. It seems kind of confusing at first. How do you read your audience? How do you go up to somebody and know what they're doing? I mean, it's just tall tale signs. It goes back to that first minute or two of conversation. Introduce yourself and start the conversation, but then leave it up to them to see where it goes. And then after that first 2 minutes, you can see, are they red like Tiffany? Are they, that's not a bad thing. She's just go. Super red. Or are they the party people? Are they blue? Are they Tiffany's mom? Yellow. Or are they green like me and super analytical? You can gauge that in the first 1 or 2 minutes, but then you can also gauge their interest in products also based by what they say. Give them the information and gauge where their eyes follow. What do they naturally, do they tend towards the cosmetics? Do they tend towards the supplementation? And then you can kind of gear your conversation around that. So just a few tips to kind of know how to talk to somebody and approach people. If you guys have more questions on how you may, start a conversation, we can always talk about that later. But
All right, I'd like to close things up by thanking all these guys. Like I said, they came up with these subjects, not me. I didn't give them these questions. They made it real easy for me. I just got to hang out and ask them some stuff. So let's give it up again for them. One more time. And next we have the Getting Started panel. So. Anybody else want to learn?
Hi guys, how are you? Hanging in? I'm gonna stand while I talk and then I'll sit, but I don't think my mouth will function if I'm sitting. I don't think it works for me. Makes me more nervous. So I'm Nikki Conder. We are a double diamond panel for you. So I promise you the advice that we're giving you, we're not saying that to brag, we're saying that because we have literally walked in your shoes. We have absolutely done everything that we're telling you that we're gonna do. So getting started. How many people in this room bought your kit and you are a distributor? Raise your hand. Awesome, you already did it. You got started. You ordered that kit, and honestly, that is the hardest step for most people. I mean, think about how many people you've talked to, how many people that you come across, and you talk to them about the opportunity, and they're not interested, or I don't know if I could do it. It just seems really hard. That right there shows you were brave. You took the first step. What do you have to lose? I mean, it's a $99 distributor kit that can absolutely change your entire life. With that being said, one of the first things that I did when I started, and pretty much all of the leaders that I've talked to, we kind of have this in common. When I started, the day I started, I did my training academy. I signed in and I went and learned the business. When you have a job, everybody in this room ever had a job anywhere? Yeah, okay. Well, this is how it works. You have training at that job, right? You go and they teach you how to do the job because you didn't walk in. Let's say you were going to be a server at Texas Roadhouse. You walked in. They didn't just hand you a little notebook and say, here, go wait on that table. You actually had to learn how the place functions, what you need to do. You take the order, you do this. You had to learn it. So this is the same thing, except you get to do it in your sweatpants with your feet up on the couch, and you just get your computer out or your phone. You don't even need a computer. You literally just need your phone. And you go through those training videos and you watch them. And sometimes you take notes. You don't have to take 10 notebooks worth, but you take notes. Then you're going to want to get on social media and you're going to want to follow the leader. You know, when you were a kid and that was the game, you follow the leader, well, you're going to do that. And the reason for that is because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. I promise you, it's been done. It's tried and tested. It's true. You know what you're doing by following these people. So do what they do. They're posting on Facebook. They're doing their training academy. They're following other leaders because guess what? They're going to give you, if you follow people, how many people get a lot of your posts that you post every single day from somebody that posted? You snatched what they had, you snatched it right off. Why not? Why would you not? As long as you know what they're saying is true and it's effective, then use it. That's what we're doing. So it's the same thing. When you're following these people, you know, just do what they're doing. That's all you need to do. That's the first step. Follow those people. The next thing is, you know, it was funny. Somebody was talking the other day about another multi-level marketing company that will remain nameless. And they actually charge for all of their training tools, even their motivational tools, which is crazy to me because honestly, for years and years, I've been watching those on YouTube. I would never pay for those. They're free right there. But they charge for absolutely everything. So get on YouTube, even ask on the team pages, you know, ask on the Vibe Squad, ask on all the others. What are some great videos? What are your favorites? And get on there and find those people because most of them, the leaders, have channels and they have tons of videos for you to go watch. So you can go and get lots of tips. So follow those people. You're molding yourself into the business person that you need to be for this business. So you're not going it alone. We're right there. We're literally holding your hand. We'll give you any information that we have. So use it. I mean, that's really all you have to do. That's getting started, is actually using the steps, going through and doing it. Is that what I'm saying?
Hey guys. So one of my tips for getting started is a lot of people are like, okay, who do I message? Where do I start? How can I talk about this business? And for me personally, I started with my friends and family. My first little customer was my best friend. So reach out to your friends and family. Go through your phone book and just send a message. I used a very generic message when I started. I'm going to read you guys one of the messages that I use now that actually got me 34 loyal customers in the month of November. So it's a great tool to use. I'll read that really fast. So it says, I'll post this on the board as well when we're finished, but it's actually in the files tab already. So just go through and look for it, but I'll read it now. It says, hey Aunt Cindy, I'm doing a challenge for my new business. Can you help? I am looking for those who want to try our products, become a customer, or make some extra money and join our team. Are you interested in any of the above, or do you know anyone you can refer me to? I have wraps on hand today for $25 each if you are interested. Just shoot me a message either way. Thank you. Literally, that's all I did. And I've got so much response from just that simple message. And it's, even if they didn't respond, that's okay. You just send it and let them give you feedback. That really, really helped me go diamond. My first message that I actually sent out to my friends and family when I started was, hey, I got a new business, will you help me out? This was a little bit more informative, and it let them give me some feedback back. So my next tip would be blitzing in your first 30 days. Who here is terrified of blitzing? Okay.
So I even still, when I'm out by myself, the majority of my blitzes come when I'm by myself. Usually I don't really get approached when my kids are with me. But even going through the checkout line and the girl says, it works. Me? I still do that every single time. Like, oh crap, she's talking to me. So no one blitz is the same. Your blitzes are going to be different every single time. You can rehearse, you can talk yourself through it in the mirror, but no one blitz is going to be the same. I still get my words mixed up, but eventually it all comes out, and it's a good thing. You can practice in the mirror, heck, practice with your dog. The worst thing that's going to happen is your dog is going to bark back at you, but guess what? The customers, they might bark back too. So you're prepared. You can talk yourself through it. With blitzing in your first 30 days, you're given blitz cards in your starter kit, and go to the dollar store and get a lanyard. I forgot it, but it's right there. This entire thing was $3. Basically, dollar store lanyard and laminate your blitz card. That's all you need. First 30 days, that is all you need to go blitzing.
All right, so you've gotten your starter kit and you've started to blitz, you've started to reach out to your friends and family. You know, the next step is you're gonna wanna get your steps to success. You know, we talk about it all the time, printing your steps to success out. And why it's so important to print it out is if you don't see your goals, you're never going to achieve them. So if you have to just print one and laminate it and mark them off, like erase it off each month because you don't want to print one out each month because you don't have a printer, then that's fine. Like hang it on your refrigerator, put the month on the top of it, and just look at it every single day. I mean, I know people write it on I know Krista writes it on her windows. I mean, shoot, you know, you have to see it to actually achieve your goals. So when you first start, you know, you don't want to just print it that first month and then, oh, I filled it that first month, I don't need to print it again. Because I guarantee you that second month, you're not going to fill it. And that's okay if you don't fill it. But if you're printing it and you're looking at it, you're going to have more of a chance to fill it if you're printing it and looking at it than if you never print it. And just put it in the drawer and say goodbye. Another tip when you get started is we all have amazing uplines. We obviously joined with the certain person that we joined with because we're either friends with them, we're family with them, we grew up with them, something. So they are, you know, they're there for you. We are all here for you. Your downlines are really important because you are now that person's upline. But you need to find a sideline. I mean, you probably know, we talk about this a lot. Like, my sidelines are two people that mean the world to me. Like, I literally talk to them every single day. If I don't talk to Sierra and Audra every single day, I know something's wrong. Like, they will box for me and be like, Megan, are you there? And I'm like, oh, I'm here. I'm just still at work. After Thursday, no longer. I mean, like, if they know if I'm not reaching out to them, something's wrong. Like, where's she at? You know, or if they need something, like, they come to me. Like, sometimes reaching up to your uplines about, you know, your business or your just things in general seem different when you talk to a sideline. So find a sideline. I find a sideline like the day you join. Like, reach out to your other teams and figure out who's on them. Find a sideline. It will change your business so much. And then the last tip I was going to talk about is, you know, we start off, we're gung-ho, we're running, you know, we're not going to stop because amazing things are happening, and then summer hits. And we're like, oh boy, everybody's at the pool and nobody wants to talk to me. That's okay. You have to realize that if something gets slow, don't get all mad and think, oh, I'm done. Because you know what? When the next month rolls around and all those people are back from their vacation, they're ready. They either gained a whole bunch of weight when they're on vacation, and so they need some backfires and thermofit to lose their vacation weight, or they just are stressed because they've been at home with their kids all summer. Like, man, the confiance is on my auto this month because being at home with 3 kids, whew, Lord help me. So I'm just saying, you have to realize that things are going to get slow, but that's okay. Because you know what? That means pour into yourself, pour into your team because it will change. Like if I'm having a slow time, like I reach out to my team and I'm like, okay, do you need to meet? Do you want to go? Let's go have drinks. Let's go to lunch. Like let's go to dinner. Like I want to pump you up because if you're not pumping yourself up and your team up, then everybody's going to be the same way. So those are my things. Print your steps to success and look at it. Find a sideline, and when it feels like it's slowing down, reach out to your team, motivate them, and they will motivate you. All right, so I think I'm gonna take some questions, and Gabby's going to take the microphone around. So if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about or before, raise your hand and Gabby will come find you.
I'm gonna do something real quick as she's walking out to get in position. Anybody that's had a rough day, a rough week, or a rough month when it comes to it works, raise your hand. There, you should feel all better. Just about every single hand in this room went up. Even the top leaders in the room, the hand goes up. Just remember that this is like anything. You're gonna have peaks and and valleys. So just roll with it and just be positive and just continue, because I promise you, every single distributor that starts, that actually works their business, even Ambassador Diamonds, I'll never forget sitting in the audience and hearing an Ambassador Diamond say, there are months when I don't get a single loyal customer or distributor. That absolutely changed my business because I felt alone. I felt like, what am I doing wrong? Nothing. Ambassador Diamonds have those months. So keep going, because what you're planting this month, you will absolutely harvest that later. Who's got some questions?
I'm gonna hold the microphone for you. So what are the best posts to use on Facebook, on social media? A post for me that it works every time is the Fat Fighters for $23 and a box of wraps. That's your referral link for your loyal customers. People want to know, how do I get that free box of wraps? There it is, the referral link for every single person that signs up. You can use any product. You just don't have to use the Fat Fighters, but I use the cheapest one because Sue doesn't love a $23 bottle of Fat Fighters.
Anybody else? I'm gonna hold it for you. I'm PM Summer today. When somebody asks, because I have the ProFit and I work out a lot, and a lot of people I hang out with work out a lot. When someone says, well, I can get more than this, or I can get the same amount as this at GNC or wherever, and this actually has a lot of sugar in it compared to other proteins. What's the? I personally like it, but a lot of people, when I am talking about the products, they say, well, I'm an Advocare, I'm getting this from GNC for cheaper, and I get more, and it has less sugar. Sugar, I think, is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, and again, I was the same way too. I mean, I would go to GNC and buy a $100 tub of Pro Complex every day, and that's what I would do. But the more and more you look into it, the more and more you realize that what we all consider meatheads. It's not just about stuffing your body full of protein. It's about what types of protein you're putting in. And this isn't to say that those proteins don't have them, because a lot of them do. But we have those as well. And so that I try not to necessarily compare as much as see what we offer as well. I guess it is kind of comparing. But so one of the biggest things too that we have with our ProFit is that it's only 100 calories. To where a lot of other ones, they may play a protein and mass gainer role. So, instead, some mass gainers can have up to 850 plus calories in them. But even ones that don't promote mass gainers, they could be anywhere from a couple hundred up to a few, 200 or 300 maybe. So, we're well below that. Some may be that low. But again, that comparing, you can do it all day long. Again, going back to the sugars, that is one for a lot of people. I've never been one to look at sugar so much. So honestly, I haven't had that many people asking me about the sugar in it. And again, this is what I say, I'm not sure. I don't know if that uses the same types of sugar as, say, like the energy drink, so I'd have to look that up. But again, going back to, it's only 100 calories. The one thing that I get asked a lot, though, is in terms of the amount of protein, it's only 14 grams compared to, say, 30, or some of them may go to 60, Then it gets into the whole studies that have been going on for 30 years as how much protein can the body absorb at once. And, there's one study that says you can only do 10 to 15. There's other studies that say you can do up to 60. So it's all over the place. So it's not necessarily about how much you can throw into your body, because at the end of the day, if you're going to pay more and then you're just going to pass it right through, what's the point? So Works took a very proactive role in saying, we're going to give you the best protein we can offer in terms of isolates. And if you look at, the isolates are the purest form of protein, that's what you want to ingest because it's easily digestible and so on. But yeah, so you want isolates, and being only 100 calories, it's also a good meal replacement because, only being 100 calories, you're not filling yourself, but being a shake or however you may make it. Alyssa loves, protein shakes in terms with bananas and strawberries. I drink it straight. But it can be filling, and it can be a meal replacement. Where other places like that, even a meal replacement is almost like a meal in itself. So yeah, but I would say definitely, I always go towards that. To me, where I tend to find my argument is, do you have proof that you can digest 30 grams of protein? Why not go with something where you can get 15 that it's the best form? And if you want to take 2 scoops, I'm not stopping you. It's not going to hurt you. So I typically leave it.
Thank you, Dr.
I'm going to give you the Nikki answer on that one real quick because that was so much for me. I would never remember all of that. Super not knowledgeable about that. I would probably say to that person, if coming to me, I would probably immediately identify 3 products from the goal that they're coming to me with that would work for them. And I would say, yes, there are lots of proteins on the market or other powders. I would just sort of lead with the fact that we're using the best of nature with the best of science. We're a botanically based company. Those are the kinds of products that we use. So, you may not necessarily get that when you go to GNC. You kind of get what you pay for, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of the organic versus, what you get at Walmart for, $1 versus going to the farmer's market. You might pay a little more, but you actually get products that are the best from nature. So I try to keep it, because I've had that and I don't know, I can't tell you what he just said. I still can't, I heard it twice. That's what I go to. So if it's somebody that's super in depth, sometimes they're just trying to prove you wrong. They really don't want to know. If they're that knowledgeable, they can get right on that product coach. Because remember, you can share that link. So they can get that knowledge for themselves. So sometimes I feel like they're being a little argumentative and they just want to prove you wrong. So I don't really go to battle with them because I don't need to.
There was a question over here somewhere.
Savannah White's walking away.
Hi, I work in a plant that's like 70% male, and I was wondering about the high blood pressure research on that. Is that a factor or not?
Are you talking about for a product that would help it, or what are you?
But this product more or less hurt it.
Which product?
Any of them?
Are you talking
the energy drink?
The energy drink. Here's what I would go to with that. I'm not your doctor. I certainly would never mess with someone that has high blood pressure. So I would simply just print out the list of ingredients for them. And I would say, you know what, the best bet for you is to take this to your doctor and clear it. Because the last thing that you want to do is be responsible for saying, oh, sure, I don't think it would hurt your blood pressure. And then this person has a stroke. So I think the best case scenario for you would be, here are the ingredients, or here's the product coach. This has the ingredients. Go look it up, ask your doctor, or even worst case scenario, your pharmacist, someone that knows the medication that you're on, and to make sure that nothing interacts. But here, we're not going to really give you lots of answers on products and that thing, because I just don't know enough. I don't have MD after my name, and I just am a networks distributor, and I'll guide you where I need to guide you.
We love you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Love you too.
How important would you consider self-development, and how often would you tell a new distributor to do that?
Okay, well, she's shoving the mic in my face. Everybody knows I preach this at every single meeting. I was in another business years and years ago, and that's when I